All right, welcome back, everybody. We have got another game at least, but possibly two, depending on what happens in this one, coming right up as LYB are backed against the wall. We'll see how if they're going to be able to take this all the way to game three. But before we get into the analysis of the pre-match, I do want to talk about our sponsors for a brief moment. You can see them at the bottom of your screen. They are CTBC Bank, China Airlines, Chunghwa Telecom, and of course, Caliber. Thank you for making the PCS possible. Now, Nightstar, LYB may be down, but this is a team that I think I think a lot of people watching this would have learned you cannot count out. And they've also got quite the vocal following. I think everybody, this is the time to throw your energy at LYB. Give them the energy to see if they can make the win here, because they're one loss away from getting knocked out of their first playoffs.
They are indeed one loss away from a quick trip in and out of playoffs here. And it's not like game one was all doom and gloom, though, because we saw them make early game plays.
Close.
Yeah, the gold lead was really tight until that Baron play happened. And it really just came down to the fact that they were able to get ahead bot side. They were able to get Dodoy ahead, but they weren't able to snowball. They didn't push the tempo hard enough and punish the side of Boom for taking things very slow and methodically, especially up at the top side where they had such a large advantage against Kanji. Like, you need to then hard force an advantage on the opposite end.
Yeah, and I think they are taking some lessons at least away from that, and we will be seeing things mixed up a little bit for this next game because, well, LYB, they get side selection this time, and they have chosen blue. They've not found a win, all split on the blue side, but, you know, that's all in the past. It's all water under the bridge. Maybe this time they go for something a little different. I know we were talking about potentially leaving that Ziggs open and seeing if they could grab it for themselves. We'll find out as we get into picks and bans. LYB now on blue. Open up with the LeBlanc ban.
Yeah, the key will be how the bans end up changing up here on LYB's side, taking the blue.
Oh, we're gonna get a reset.
Well,
all right, false alarm. Nobody look at what happened. We're gonna go right back into it in a minute.
We haven't gone into the draft yet, but you know, I'm predicting a LeBlanc first ban and maybe a Renekton first ban on the other side as a response. Yeah,
it's really specific. Are you sure? You sure that's your final answer, Nightstar?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Well,
I'll bet channel points on it.
I'm gonna withhold my judgment. Ooh, okay. Big spender. All right. Can we get that in the predictions? Like, what's the first ban going to be? I feel like that one maybe is not going to be too hard, though. But yeah, we do have it looks like it was a quick technical delay. We'll see if we can get back into that. Thank you all for bearing with us. But yeah, LYB, you know, we talk a lot about them because it always feels like their scoreline doesn't really reflect how this team has really improved, how this team has gotten better. The only problem is pretty much every other team in the league has also gotten better at the same time. So it has been a little hard to find some of those wins in the regular split, but this is still a monumental thing for them to have made playoffs, to get the tiebreaker over impunity and get themselves here. And there is still a chance. They seem to be able to play up to Boom's standard, but Boom were just a little quicker on the draw with regards to that Baron. I think the panic started to set in a little bit, and I want to see LYB calm down a little bit, focus. You know, it is playoffs. It's possible jitters have come in. You know, I'm wondering what the coaching staff may have been saying last time around. We did see a couple smiles on the face. So, you know, I do think LYB as a team are a little hard to really put on the back foot mentally. But, you know, take the time to reset and we'll see what they can do in game two, right?
Yeah. And that said, like, LYB, one of the reasons why they sometimes end up losing these closer games is the fact that they do make that one big mistake. And towards the late game, that's all it takes. One big mistake, and then you lose two or three members, and then your base is just gone. And that's pretty much what happened in the previous game, where they got Baron, they were out of position, couldn't line up against the Baron wave coming in bot side, and then they lost both of their frontline champions trying to overcompensate.
They also lost out on some kills that they honestly should have been able to pick up if not for some absolutely miraculous lanterns.
Yeah.
So I think this time around, now that they're on blue side, if they get a chance to grab the Thresh, you know, we'll see what Aiden can do with that. But I don't think that should be let through because that was just such a pivotal pick in Pop's hands. And And I think the score line really reflected that a little bit. But there it is. They banned it on the blue side as we get right back into pick ban.
I think the focus should just be onto either the Gwen or the Ziggs pick here. Maybe Varus gets let through, but I don't think Varus, while can do a lot of good things for you, just doesn't have that same degree of fight warping dynamics that a Ziggs does have, who has terrain control, who has like so much AoE damage, and also long range AoE damage as it will be. The Trundle as that last ban, Ziggs will be left available here. So comes down to, what do Boom want to do about this pick?
Yeah, if they're going to deny it, and no, they don't. They actually ban out the Varus, a much more played champion for Dawn. But will this mean the opt-in? Trundle banned by LYB themselves, it means that big combination is not going to be available, but it's still a strong choice on its own, and it does get locked in for Dawn.
So Dawn, last time around, I believe they got a win on this champion. So yeah, they are 50-50 with this champ. So I'm not going to say it was the cleanest Ziggs play I've ever seen, but you get a lot of leeway with this champion. So even if he doesn't hit every single skill shot because those cooldowns are just that short, he'll get to that point. And for Boom, they go ahead, take away the Volibear. It does mean the Olaf and Diana are available for Dodoy
and Viego
to snatch up.
If he wants that champion, I mean, that's always an option. We were talking about Gwen, a big power pick being available, but the Viego has made it through here. And, I wonder if Dodoy wants to take it. He has played it. In fact, 4 players on LYB have taken it, but one of them, of course, Speltz, who had been subbed out. But, not going to opt for it just yet. The Nautilus will be the first choice here to round out that bottom lane. I do like what they're bringing there. But, yeah, I think it could work well for a player like Dodoy, who can step up into that carry position. The Olaf is also another champion he's had quite the penchant for. Really has liked to get in onto the map and get some counterplay, counter jungling going. We'll see how they respond to what's been picked already by Boom. And it will, in fact, be the Xin Zhao. Okay.
Yeah, I like the Xin a lot more here. I think if you do go for the Viego, it wouldn't be into the hands of Dodoy. It would be more for Kanji or Xyliath, and it would also leave you pretty vulnerable to
Ooh. That's a Yuumi pickup for Pop.
Huh. Okay. This is really interesting.
He's played it already.
Yeah, it's a much different flair in the fact that you are kind of able to jump onto this Volibear and he jumps in and it kind of stretches your engaged range just ever so slightly in an attempt to lock down this Ziggs pick. Also gives you a bunch of sustain to perhaps out-sustain a Ziggs, which I don't think is possible. But you never know. It would leave really everything for Wako here. He has to be so on point with his play because he is playing into a Nautilus and the Ziggs, which just warps terrain still pretty well here. So that will be the lane to watch in my opinion. And now going into the second phase, it will be Azir taking off the table, and for the side of Boom, they go ahead and take away Camille and Jace, taking away some of that extra range coming in from the side of LYB, possibly.
But the Gwen's still left up if Rocky wants to opt into that matchup once again. And Kanji didn't have an answer for it last time. I think it slots in nicely here. They've already got a tank. They've got some AD for their mid laner, and we'll see if that ends up being a choice for him. Taking a little bit of time on this one. And last second, they do swap over and lock the Gwen after all. So we'll see if Kanji decides to come up with something a little different in answer to it this time around. He's played some interesting champions, even got an Urgot in the mix.
Yeah, and so interestingly enough, we did see the Azir ban come out. So clearly they think that this Lucian pick is actually going into the bottom lane.
Oh, that's true.
So it will be Lucian Yuumi, which does have decent kill pressure because it is a control mage into Lucian, who just kills control mages. But it will be the Lulu pivot coming in from Xyleath, which we did highlight as one of the big champions for Xyleath to help facilitate Dodoy in getting started in these early game plays.
If they wanted to do this, I wonder. I would have liked to see something that maybe did a little bit more damage even than the Xin Zhao, but they will finalize their composition with a nice tanky pick of the set for Kanji. Actually, I think it'll be his first set on the split. And that is going to be a bit of a bruisery composition, going to be hard to shake through it. And I think Dawn is going to be really pulling double time to dish the damage in this one. And to round things out, you're absolutely right. It is going to be a Lucian bot lane as we get the last pickup, and it's a Rise for Ruby. Unless it's Gwen bot. I mean, I was thinking for just 1 second, no, that'd be crazy, but what if?
That'd be kind of fun.
No. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think what LYB have locked in at the moment is going to be the final answer, but it would be certainly an interesting take.
There we go. That makes a little more sense, but I still, the
okay.
Nautilus down bottom. They just waited their time, but this is something we've seen from LYB before. You know, letting the mid laner really go on to a much more supportive champion to try and buff up either of the carries. I do like it. I feel like if they ever get a wild growth onto Ziggs, it'll be because something went horribly, horribly wrong, though.
So that's one of the issues, is that Lulu, while it plays really well at keeping your carry alive, usually you want an auto-attacking champion to fully take advantage of all that Lulu offers, because you can just give them extra stats to play around with the attack speed. And Ziggs not quite a champion that does take full advantage of that attack speed.
Xin Zhao, though,
he definitely does very well with it. But the big thing here for the side of LYB is, I feel like when this composition hits mid and late game especially, the drop off in damage from everyone else but Dawn is going to be pretty harsh. So it's really Dawn or nothing at the end of this game.
Yes, indeed. Will it be enough to send LYB to a win here and force a game 3? Backed against the wall, the Philippines representatives looking to make an impression in their first playoff berth ever in the history of the PCS. Will it be enough? If you're in the chat there, sending them your energy. Let's see if they can make use of it. On the other side, Boom Esports looking to make this one a fast day, especially by their own standards, to close it out 2-0. We'll find out as we hit Summoner's Rift.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
As we go into Summoner's Rift, game number 2, backs against the wall. It's time to find out
30 seconds until
if
minions
LYB can take us to a game number 3. This comp does have a lot of roam potential. You can roam coming in from the Lulu, even from this set pick, able to crash wave and just start moving. However, I don't really like the set into this Gwen. Gwen should be able to farm relatively easily and also just farm the set later on in the game. Just not a whole lot of answers coming in from the set pick. It's, again, all about the playmaking and making sure, hey, if Pop on this Yuumi goes in with the Volibear, we have a set to escort him right out the back.
Yeah, it's going to be a little tough, and it does feel like Kanji maybe just doesn't have a good answer for this Gwen, and that's something that Boom are going to be able to abuse. But as we get things underway, this is a bot lane that I haven't seen a whole lot of, because normally when we have a Lucian, it's in a solo lane these days. So, nice start. Talk me through this Lucian Yuumi combination and what it's going to be able to do against the likes of Dawn and Aiden.
The Yuumi is just going to really allow the Lucian to have maximum playmaking potential in this lane, gets the extra move speed, gets the healing as well. So it's really a nice battle of attrition here in this bottom side, and you do have to favor this Lucian Yuumi bottom lane because it does have the resources to trade, whereas a Ziggs doesn't have a whole lot, of resources to trade early on. It's just once he gets a couple of items, that's when things will swing. And that's also where the dynamic swings as well, because yes, Lucian can kill you, but where's his range when it comes to these team fights? It's non-existent. It's probably even worse than maybe an Aphelios, although the ultimate gives him a little bit of utility, but yeah.
Yeah, it is a little bit curious. There were a lot of other options, and they could have gone for some serious range. But we'll see if the game plan comes through. Ooh, Xylia taking a decent bit of damage through the minion waves as he just dukes it out against the likes of Ruby. Ruby's definitely had a better day so far. Yesterday, kind of some head-scratch plays. You know, that Azir was not super impressed with how he was doing. In the course of the split has been better, but Ruby's kind of been a bit of a swingy mid laner this split, hasn't he? You know, we've seen some incredible plays from him, and we've also seen some, you know, oh no.
Gank mid. I think we've seen this one before. Yeah,
this is pretty repeat, but Xyliath is playing over to the other side of the map at the moment. Will he be able to get away? The flash forward, the flash follow, and he's going to vroom on out of there, but that's a nice trade. Xyliath avoids the same fate twice.
That's actually really well done there. Dodging out on the same play that, I mean, Xyliath and Dodoy pulled off in game number 1, right? They pulled that exact same play off the wave.
What we did.
Yeah, the wave was pretty much in the exact same position. The level EXP was right in the same spot, and yeah, really well done from Xyliath to get out of trouble there. It does take a boatload of damage upon return, and he actually didn't go for the corrupting potion to try and match Ruby, so it's a little bit of a mistake, but and I feel like you definitely should invest towards sustain in this lane where Ruby wants to look for trades, and if you're Xyliath, you're just trying to hit that first item and get that support tool online to really buff up Dodoy and the rest of your squad.
Speaking of sustain, Waco's found a pretty great answer to getting outranged by the likes of the Ziggs by just saying, I don't really care because I have a Yuumi. So that's working out so far so well. Meanwhile, Kanji up top does try to go on with the Haymaker, but Rocky's able to get his miss down, and mean that doesn't really do a whole lot. Actually has the wave pushed at the moment. This is a little bit of a dangerous game, I think, up against the likes of a Gwen, but no jungler is anywhere near there, so he's fine for the time being.
Hollow hasn't done too much here. We're only 5 minutes into the game, of course.
He's definitely not as active as a jungler as Dodoy, though. I think it is worth pointing out. Like, Dodoy gets involved early and often. He hasn't been able to do much yet this game on the Xin Zhao, but that is also a champion that you're going to want to be able to get up to speed first. And you know, Kanji, credit where it's due. He's actually doing a decent job of dueling out this Gwen. He's actually going to force the back from Rocky, and not a bad showing so far.
And I mean, the set doesn't lose outright. It does well in the early levels. It's just once level hit, the 6 hits onto Rocky, he just gets so much more damage with his ultimate, and of course with the extra sustain power coming in from Conquer, that it becomes very, very difficult for the set to return fire. And then he just pretty much becomes utility and really just damage fodder for Rocky to just non-stop stack up all his passive, whether it's the Conqueror or the Rift Maker when that gets completed. So a lot of responsibility for Kanji to take his wave priority and try and transfer it, or just double down and bring Dodoy to try and get this kill on Rocky. They will be able to deny a lot of CS, which is going to be a big deal because Rocky's still level 5 here.
Yeah, that's actually pretty good timing. Unfortunately, they weren't able to get the dive off because Rocky did have that pink ward in and around. And actually, he wants to go in, and that's going to prompt the instant showstopper. But it's all a bait because Ruby is incoming. Is it going to be enough in time? Into the mist they go to try and take him down for first blood. Ruby looking for more, finds Dodoy, but gets turned around. And they're actually going to have Xyliath even coming up here. This is a bit dangerous to be running away from the Rise, though, as they step right into the brush. Need to turn this one around. Could be a little bit rough. And going in on the audacious charge. Kanji a little bit low. It's tag team League of Legends as they buy time for Xyliath into the wild growth. And I think that might be it for now. Ruby can't quite find the kill.
Yeah, but now they do have to be careful about bot lane here. They could get dove because Hollow is in the vicinity. Will be taking away that red buff first. He will hit 6 off of that, so this is it.
Yeah, the wave is a little bit weak, though, so this is going to be a little tough, and they might want to wait for the next
turn
one
off
or
towers.
not. That's going to be the Stormbringer looking for the damage onto Ziggs. They find Dawn, and he's able to tank up through the turret, but not before he's forced to flash away, and Wako tanks one on the outset. Nicely done, though, by the Boom bot lane, comboing up with their jungler for one.
Yeah, wave doesn't really matter against the Volibear as long as he's able to get onto that tower, turn it off. However, thankfully, he is Ziggs, which means he is going to have teleport, so able to get straight back into the lane and recuperate what he lost from that death, and not too much loss there. Yes, gold does go into the pocket of Wako, and that's going to feel nice. It's also kind of expected from a Lucian to be ahead here, since he does have kill pressure and he does have the extra investment coming in from the Yumi, but hey, it's a good start nonetheless.
Yeah.
Lyra.
It absolutely is. You know, this bot lane's working out well, but I think Liab's been able to match pressure on this one, so it is a very even game. In fact, dead even in gold. The difference, Boom do have the dragon advantage, and now Kanji's in some trouble. That's going to be a snip, and the showstopper to bring him right over into the pit. Unfortunately, he's completely isolated. Dodoy trying to come in for the rescue, but unfortunately, he's a little too late to the party. The turn-in is going to be there, and Xyliath actually getting the kill on a glitter lance of all things. And this is going to be the follow-through. Rocky turning on to Aiden and just skipping and slashing his way to another kill. What a scrappy fight there.
Back off. They're going to actually have to back off, though, as... Oh,
Wako kill pressure. Oh, the flash forward.
Oh, he doesn't have mana.
Oh, you hate to see it. Baited himself.
Do it. Oh, he didn't give the
does not do the Yumi S. Unfortunately, 3-3 in kills. Man, this is back and forth, but yeah, Wako, a bit of an unforced error from the Boom bot side. He did have to dash to avoid the Mega Inferno Bomb, but he didn't have to go deep under tower.
Yeah, I think he thought he had mana for an ultimate or something like that, but we get to see the replay onto this Rift Herald here. Kanji, I don't know what he was trying to accomplish there, but the follow-up coming in from the rest of the team, they are able to return one, and Dodoy at this point in the game does do a lot of good upfront damage. It's just kind of a burst damage, which is the issue coming in from this Liab squad. They have decent burst damage, they just don't have a lot of persistent damage afterwards. And
they did get Rift Herald on the back half of that, and that means they're going to be able to get themselves first brick, which is pretty big, considering they couldn't quite get that last time around. Ooh, Wako very low in this lane. That's a dangerous game you're playing right there. Dawn is not around. A little bit of another solo, it seemed, as he finally got revenge. Meanwhile, Dodoy's around Kanji. They're looking to make this a second Shelly charge. And down under tower, they go for Aiden. What is going on down bot?
Well,
meanwhile, Showstopper. The action don't stop. It looks like Rocky in the mist. He goes. Big old needlework, but Dodoy stands firm in this one. And here comes Xyliath. They're going to try to collapse. Sandwich on top of the Gwen. Teleport coming in. They got to go now if they want to. Audacious charge into the Glitter Lance and Belt picks. And that's a wild growth from the finisher. Now Ruby looking to chase him down. Finds a Rune Prison. Does it do enough damage? No. Oh, but Ruby's just so darn fast.
He could
they've got a speed boost. Yeah, that's okay.
All right.
Let's look at bot lane again.
Margin, but yeah, it just comes down to the kill pressure. Usually, as a Ziggs, you're fine being left alone because you can just wave clear, but that's not the case against Lucian, Yumi, and the fact that if you ever get left on your own and that final chapter is up, you just zoomy into the final chapter, and Wako on this Lucian should be able to then chase you down, whether or not it's with the culling or just regular rundown there. So Dawn can't really be left exposed by himself, otherwise he could get run down once again.
Yeah, a little unfortunate for the LYB bot lane, and that gives a bit of an edge here for Boom Esports. LYB will opt to go for a Mountain Dragon, though. They've been pretty good at objectives this series. In contrast to most of their split, they've been able to take away a lot from Boom Esports that teams have not given them the opportunity to do. First brick, the tower, and the dragon. Or rather, the Herald as well. Excuse me.
Yeah, not a bad showing coming in from LYB in this early game, but we also saw it in the previous game as well, right? Where they start out well, but they ended up stalling out when it came to the mid game. This is a composition that does need to turn it up in this mid game, or they just have to be
collapsing on. There we go. That's going to be a lot of damage dealt on to Holo, but he was able to flash away, and man, that Yuumi sustain and the zoomies to get out of there.
The darn cat. Foiled again.
As a cat owner myself, zoomies can be pretty frustrating to deal with, depending on when they happen.
Yeah.
That was a suboptimal time for them to happen for LYB, it turns out.
Indeed it was, and now they're going to lose this bottom tower as well. Wako able to get plate gold and that turret gold. Right then and there.
I think that was just a matter of time.
Yeah.
So the question is, what I was gonna say is, like, Wako gonna opt into a side lane play because he is a Lucian and he can get escapes out, but I think they're actually gonna try and group up for this one and try to play a little bit of scrappy fighting.
Dodoy hunting.
Maybe get some picks. Dodoy looking for Holo right now, kind of caught isolated.
That's support.
Oh my goodness, he's having a rough game on the bear right now, forced to ultimate away. He will get out of here.
Good collapse onto Rocky.
Yeah, that's going to be enough to take the turret. I don't think they can find the killer. Maybe they can. The flash into the face breaker. Ooh, I don't know if that was worth it, Kanji. Counter engage now coming through, and they tank the culling off the back. Wako up in the damage in as Rocky on the front line. Skip and slash the needlework. Ruby looking for it as they go back in. Kanji is a dead man. He sacrifices for his team with a showstopper.
It was definitely a sacrifice that needed to happen there. As if everyone started running in that same direction, well, definitely could have been a lot worse. And because of the fact that Kanji did expend the flash to try and make the play happen, they're going to end up losing out on that summoner for the next big team fight, which could happen in 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Will be that.
Yeah, there is
also Ocean Rift.
Been a lot of Ocean Rifts today.
Yeah.
I think it might have been 100%. We got a Mountain Rift once.
Yeah, we did get Mountain in the first game of today. As now Holo looking to get aggressive in this top half of the jungle. I'll be looking to dive whoever visits that top lane. So Xyliath has to put himself on notice here.
Yeah, although Lulu is definitely a champion that can get away. You have your own speed boost. You do have the wild growth should you need it for yourself. But not going to set up that dive after all. They settle for taking away some of the jungle, and everybody's posturing around this river close to mid lane. There is a Rift Herald there, as the team that wins the fight should get an advantage on grabbing that one. Holo and Ruby waiting in the death brush, and Dodoy. Oh, Dodoy. He actually knew the whole time! As he goes forward, the Mega Inferno Bomb landing, forces the flash away, the turn, the damage is there, as Holo taken low, but not out of this one. Ruby opens up with the first kill on the overloads, and man, Rocky unloads on those huge needleworks. Into the pit they go, but Rocky still hanging firm for the time being. Finally falls to Kanji, but he's caught in the back of the pit. Big haymaker there. Wako dealing the damage to him, but it's not going to be nearly enough. Big shutdown. Kanji, he's rolling forward, and Top's got nowhere to go. The triple kill for the LYB top lane.
Oh my lord, Set coming online. I don't even know how that happened, but just doing so much damage, and he's just so tanky as well because of his passive, just so much regen. And this is kind of the drawback of a Lucian. Yes, he hits hard in this mid game, but he doesn't exactly annihilate some of these tankier targets that quickly here. You get to see the replay. Aiden, he goes in and just instantly blown up. There's so much ult damage coming in from this squad from Boom, but then the turnaround, they're not quite focused on Kanji. They think that they can take care of him because of how much HP he doesn't have, and what do you know? He still keeps healing.
Yeah, that was really huge. It opens up with 2 deaths on the LYB side, but they keep it going. And they managed to find the fight win. As a result, they will be able to secure up this Rift Herald too. And, you know, LYB still continuing a great show of strength here in these playoffs. Trying to stay alive. However, they do have to worry because Ruby is pushing on the side lanes, really opening up objectives and trying to use the timing window that Boom did have on that Herald take. And have to see how valuable this Herald's going to be. They're going to get a execution on this tower, at least they should. But Boomer there for the chase right now, and even though tower falls, they couldn't quite do much more with it.
And that's all they're going to be able to get off of it, and because of where Ruby is, Dodoy does have to be careful about his positioning. And I mean, for the side of Boom, you can easily just shift your attention into avoiding these team fights and just play for 1-3-1.
Right.
Because you have a Gwen, you have a Rise as well, and
he's pretty
when the other side, when the other side has a support mid laner or a support top laner, which is basically what Lulu is, there's no answers to the side lane. You can kind of wave clear, but you're never ever going to duel either of these targets. You can make life frustrating, but the fact of the matter is, you're still going to have kill pressure if you are the side of Boom and they're trying to collapse.
Yeah, they are looking for the kill up on it to Xyliap as they take the portal back to the line, forcing the flash out. Even with the wild growth, there's nothing you can do against that. Great execution from Boom, diving topside, and no answer really from LYB here.
Yeah, for the side of LYB, the only thing that they can really do is just try and siege, but with Wako on this Lucian, he can just kind of use the culling to play wave clear.
Blue team's turret has been destroyed.
Just
it looks like
slow things down for the side of LYB, and
using Ruby on the side lane is really proving very effective. Kanji's going to try to match pressure, but I don't think he's really quite got the damage.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
Yeah, I'm interested in seeing where this build path goes. Maybe he just goes for the 1v1 to try and create that opening. It does look like he...
Bruiser set?
I think this builds into Wit's End, which would make a lot of sense because you're into the Rise and also the Gwen. And if it is, that would be pretty sick. I'm down for 1v1. Oh, Blade of Ruined King. I'm also down for that.
Also
I'm down
really
for
good.
that too.
You know what? Yeah, what the heck? Let's go with it. Kanji going for the 1v1, so answer on the side lane. There it's going to be. And honestly, the set can get very, very large if Xyliap does spend the wild growth on it. So game state resets for just a little bit here. Baron has hit the rift as the 20 minutes have elapsed, but you have to think the sooner fight is probably going to be over by the Dragon Pit. But LYB are setting up vision just in case.
Dragging up in 2 minutes, so timer's a little bit of ways away. But Kanji, Xyliap, oh, they're setting up for a pick.
Yeah, I'm going to try for this one. Big zoom on, and oh my goodness, what a great face breaker to start things off here. They're actually going to zone the Lucian away as the front line
Ruby's
really
dead.
left out on their own at this point. Ruby already out of this fight. The neither word turnaround from Rocky is
Rocky's
huge,
all by
but
himself,
is it
though.
enough? He just has himself to work with. They're going to have to go back to Wako and Pop in this one, and they turn once again looking for the Lucian. They can't quite find him. Kanji tanks so much, and they actually pop him back forward. Looking for the bouncing bomb, forcing the flash away, and Wako, an escape artist in this game.
Kanji, I don't think this is something you're running after.
No, they're not going to chase this. They can go back and reset, but LYB, they get a pick, looking for more, but that is what they'll have to settle for.
They get a pick, and actually they get a blue buff, so it's not the worst of trades, given the fact that there's really not a whole lot of other objectives to go for at the moment. And
hey, you're right.
But Kanji, I mean, he gets a great face breaker, but the issue is Dawn's ult is just not synced up with it, so they don't get maximum damage, but that's more than enough to burst down that first target. And Rocky, I mean, he comes in with teleport, does a lot of damage, but unfortunately the teleport's too late, and by the time he comes in, the rest of the team just don't have the health bars to try and follow up on his damage, and we just see so many flashes burned. That's going to be a big point of contention when it comes to that next objective fight, because now you don't have those escape tools. And now this Yumi just has to figure out which player he wants to keep up alive because he had so many carries to try and keep alive now.
Yeah, he was kind of stuck on Wako for the entirety of that and getting zoned away after the back off. Even the last chapter, I should say, didn't quite land on a whole lot of people. So Rocky didn't have as much backup, and the execution just wasn't quite there. Now, Boom have a positioning inside track on this Ocean Dragon, but LYB, they're kind of deathballing it. They're not too far behind. Here comes the flank from Kanji, and this is going to get started up here. I think we might have an honest-to-goodness 5v5.
Kanji
We chase away.
Face off.
Okay, actually going to go for the showstopper too, man.
Okay.
Megan Furlong going to completely whiff in this one, and they are going to turn LYB's attention. They actually managed to start by taking out Holo. No smite in this fight, but Rocky comes in to open up huge as Kanji is going to be left for dead, trying to run away, but you can't get out of the skip and slash, and even though he's tanking through it, they will be able to find the answer. Boom Esports with huge shutdowns managed to grab the Ocean Drake as well as the ace.
Oh, and that Mega Infernal Bomb was just so tragic there. On the replay, we're going to see just how tragic it was.
It was more of an Omega Lull Inferno Bomb. I mean, he splits the uprights on this one. Nobody gets touched. You hate to see it.
Yeah, that really just doomed the fight right then and there. And in the 1v1, of course, he's going to get run down by that Lucian. And you know, there's not a whole lot to be said. If the Mega Inferno Ball just lands on either the 3-man group or the 2-man group, the fight changes drastically.
Yeah, but it seemed like Don tried to split the difference, and you know, it's been a little bit questionable from him on this Ziggs, and that's something that LYB are going to have to work on if they want to get back into this game. Remember, backs against the wall. They can't afford to drop this one. They'll be out of playoffs, and Boom will be moving on to the next round. But despite everything, they do have the ability to fight it out. Going to death brush this one, but Boom are not going that way. So this is a little bit unfortunate. They might be able to wrap around. Ruby could be, but he's just going to blast cone in. They actually should. I think they might just be on the inside. This is like a game of chicken. Oh my goodness, here we come. Here comes the collapse. Will the fight come on? All 3 members show. This is going to be the
starting
disengage
burying against the Ziggs, though.
Yeah, Rocky going to be caught in for just a second. Throws down the mist. They try to turn. Kanji looking to come into the back line, and that is going to be Holo opening up. Boom, I think they're just trying to maybe get a better positioning on this one. There's the Mega Inferno Bomb. Does manage to land at least on Rocky, but Holo takes out Aiden in this fight. They turn it around. They can chase to find Wako. LYB are looking for the big fight here, and I think they have found it. The big bruiser set coming through, and Dawn, he just needs to finish off Ruby solo on the damage. Oh, and he gets away.
Oh. Ruby survives. He's actually going to survive, and they're turning out to the Baron, but they don't have the health bars. I don't think they can do this. They actually use the smite. So okay, well, Ruby's probably going to have to just back off here.
Have enough time, yeah. He doesn't have TP.
But
we're getting a little excited, but this is tense.
Okay,
just barely. I think they can do this. I think they can do
this. All right.
Yeah, this is tough though.
I was never worried. Fire.
Have faith.
You know, I always had faith.
It's after a fight like that, you know, the raid boss can look a little bit tough. Let's take a look at it again because it was such a great collapse from LYB. It starts out rough because Aiden falls, but then the jaws just snap shut and Dodoi goes huge. They have the damage. Kanji cutting off the escape route, and you know, honestly, I think Ruby's surviving by the skin of his teeth. It's a little bit lucky for him. Dawn, you know, kind of getting outplayed a little bit here as he tries to trap him around the side, but what can you do?
Yeah, if you don't land those kill shots, it's rough. And 80 carries, you know what? What they're good at is right-clicking. What they're not good at, skill shots, unfortunately.
Buttons are hard.
It's just kind of fact of life.
Yeah.
And he just didn't land enough of them, but
here's
still
the problem.
Rewarded.
Ziggs is not an 80 carry. He's a magic damage carry, my friend.
Yeah.
It's against the natural order. Yeah. Unfortunate. Sometimes you gotta A-click. You gotta practice hitting your buttons as well, you know?
Yeah, but now, look, okay. Mega Inferno Bomb just deletes the wave. Easy does it.
Ooh, Ruby gonna wait. Nah, I'm not gonna check that, okay.
For the side of Boom, they still have gold advantage, but LYB will be able to recuperate some of that here. And they're just going to try and get as strong as possible for this next dragon in a minute. For Boom, you can let this one go, but because you are on Soul Point, we could very well just see them try and flip this because, I mean, that's what Boom do.
That's true. They will take the coin flip, and sometimes, maybe more often than not, they find the answer. Ruby really been playing out of his mind on this rise. Rocky actually does get caught in the thing about a Gwen, though, is she can just throw down the mist, and it's a little hard to get that deletion. But here comes the chase. The flash, the hook does not land, but they've got a second wind. And the showstopper goes Kanji. They're looking for it, but how long can he take this up? Apparently all day. Look at Ruby opening up on this one, but it's not nearly enough. As LYB open fire,
Pyra, they're doing it.
Falls, and LYB are staying alive. Do you believe, Nightstar?
I sure do. Here is now they're going to have the Baron minions. They're going to be able to shove mid lane. It won't be the end of the game, of course, because it is only 28 minutes, but they're also able to deny this soul, which is incredibly important here. And all of a sudden, we've got a very, very hotly contested game here on our hands in game number 2. LYB looking to tie this series up.
Oh, this play is so scrappy, and I love it. Missed the first hook, not a problem, says Kanji. Goes into the backline, huge showstopper, haymaker, stays alive. He buys so much time. Just this big bruiser frontline set. Ruby keeps playing his damnedest to try and make the play, but all of a sudden the frontline melts, and then Wako and Pop are just out of there, and there's nothing they can do. LYB taking the spoils, and what a close game this has turned out to be. At 29 minutes, 17-18 in kills. Gold very close.
And you can see what that fight meant for them as well. Wako has the elixir of wrath, so investing 500 gold for immediate power. Also has a stopwatch. He knows that this next fight is probably one of the most important fights here with that stopwatch for additional safety. This is also kind of the point where the Lucian slowly but surely loses effectiveness.
Falls off a bit.
Yeah, doesn't have that same range that something like the Ziggs does, but they're going to try and pull some macro shenanigans, which not exactly Boom's strong point here is Aiden.
Oh, he takes a full channel calling almost. That's a little bit rough, but Aiden trying to sustain this one up a little bit. It's Dodoy going in. They're going to get that final chapter, but really just a disengage here from the Boom side. And Dodoy happy to burn the flash to try and secure this one up. Meanwhile, Ruby and Rocky going to be tracking onto Kanji here as they do find the needlework. Skip and slash, turns around into the showstopper. Teleport needs to buy a bit of time. And the Haymaker still waiting on that one here, actually staying alive through it all. And here comes Xyliath. Actually holds on to the wild growth, not even needed. Meanwhile, Wako in the mid does find Dawn, not enough to delete. As LYB tagging in, just crazy back and forth in this one. It's never a dull moment.
Oh, and now Boom Esports, they're just trying to amp up the pressure. They're playing these side lanes so well here, knowing that they have so much damage. But now, here's the dive.
In onto Aiden. No, he goes golden for just a second to turn in. Once again, Dawn will finish him off. And meanwhile, the tower falls.
Dodoy
has to go back into stasis. Rocky take it low. They find the damage. He's going to go golden for just a second. Meanwhile, Ruby into the back line, looking to delete them all. He finds two, but is it going to be enough? Here comes Wako around the side. Low health bars, but LYB, they persevere. Wako gets the calling off, but it's just not quite enough damage. The body block Kanji with the haymaker, staying alive. In goes Dodoy. Oh, Wako, he's getting knocked up for days, and LYB are still doing it as Rocky TP's in. Right back off the fight, fresh in for round 2. Getting one deletion, looking for another. Kanji limping away. Oh, we can't even catch our breath this game, Nightstar. What a crazy one.
My heart. Oh, God.
Will it go on? Will it go on?
Oh, but in the end, it ends up being a 4-4-3 trade in favor for the side of Boom Esports here. As we get to see the replay, I mean, anytime you have a Volibear, you're just looking to go. And unfortunately, they don't finish off Rocky there. If they finish him off, It would have been such a massive win for them. They would have also been able to finish off Pop at the end, but so much damage on the turn coming in from Wako with this culling. And unfortunately, they didn't finish Rocky, which means that this extra kill goes in their favor. It could have been 4 for 3 the other way.
Right, you
now, tensions mounting. What do you know? The gold lead. Where is it? Dead even. 32 minutes.
Oh, and it's 3
almost...
dragons to 2. There's so much sustain now between these two teams as well, and Ocean Soul up for grabs for Boom in a minute. Aiden, he's checking a little far forward. Dodoy looking to wrap around the side.
Careful.
A little danger here. He does get stopped up and actually looks to turn on. Crescent Guard's there. That's going to prompt the ultimate turn from Holo as well. The backup, and oh, they've actually found Wako, but I don't think they can get it right here. It's going to be, that's Aiden finding
Ruby's out of position.
Finding the play on Ruby. Do they have enough damage though as Rocky and Holo comes in around the side? Here comes the showstopper. Wako takes out the support, but is it going to be Kanji is massive! He can't do it! And Rocky, there's nothing left in the tank. No, there is! As Wako turns it around. What is going on here? It's a 3, 4, 2.
Oh, Wako, the only way he can keep this game alive is to just cut off the wave. They're going to try and chase him down here.
Oh, they really do.
That doesn't land. But now they have control of the wave. They're going to try and run down mid, and Wako, he's back on duty to try and cut the wave. And with Dragon coming up, it does look like they're just going to turn their attention towards this next Dragon. It will be both teams on 3 Dragons. We're going down to the wire, Pyra.
We're going the distance in this game, Nightstar. 33, almost 34 minutes, 23 to 24 in kills. It has been non-stop pulse pounding action as LYB, their backs against the wall, trying to stay alive, and Boom Esports looking for the closeout, but it ain't gonna be fast, it ain't gonna be pretty, but it is certainly gonna be exciting. Boom start off on the Dragon, off the timing, LYB in hot pursuit.
They instantly have to peel off because, what do you know? Ziggs exists on the other side. Mango Inferno Bomb also available. Level 16. You have max cooldown on that ability. So it's just going to be so hard for the side of Boom to start out these objectives, because the moment that they do, and if they all funnel into the pit, there's just no escape for them. There's no outlet. But now Kanji has to be under fire. He's taking so much damage.
Oh, has to get that haymaker. That's huge. Actually, they trade 1 for 1 though, and the fight is all of a sudden turned around again. That's going to be the big Crescent Guard into the big Inferno Bomb. Someone is able to find even more here, and it doesn't matter if the Gwen's in the mist when everybody is in melee range. Pop is the last man standing, and it's going to be LYB with the ace. Turn for the Baron.
50 seconds.
Or are they just gonna go straight down mid lane? I think so. Nightstar, the timers are long.
They have Ziggs, they have Lulu. This Ziggs can annihilate towers. They just need the minion wave to survive, and these minions aren't moving fast enough.
Can take them out. They can get these towers. Look at the death timers right here. The shortest one right now is going to be
seconds.
on Holo. 10 seconds for Wako now, but they are going to go for it. LYB, they can envision themselves winning this game. They've got it in their sights. The Ziggs satchel charge is making all the difference. And
can they finish
as they
it
come
off?
off the cooldown, they go for the tower. The teleport comes in. Dodoy buying time, and LYB are going to do it. They're going to go up 1-1 in the series, taking it to game 3.
Oh, Pyra. I outlined how LYB would be able to do it. All it takes is 2 team fight wins in 3 35-minute situations, because the death timers are just that long.
Calculated 100% of the way. Oh, Wako starts this one up, and you think for a second Kanji's gonna die, but he turns it around. The haymaker into Dodoy with the finisher, and then this fight, it's all about choke points, baby. Nowhere for the rest of Boom to go. And LYB, they clean up. Pop, he knows there's nothing he can do. And that is what ended up being the ender of the game.
Oh my god.
Wow. That's all I gotta say about that.
I mean, this is exactly the kind of game we envisioned, right? Where Boom, they're they're just not clean enough to end these games in a fast fashion. It takes a big blunder coming in from the opposing team to really just red carpet their way in before they actually figure things out. And that's kind of what happened in game number 1, right? Where it just made one big mistake from LYB and they were able to finish with that Baron buff. This time around, it wasn't that clean. However, it's going to be really, really hard to replicate that success in game number 3 because now, if it is to be expected, Boom will swap over to blue side where they're going to have control over this Ziggs pick. So now it's going to go back into the hands of LYB to go ahead, ban that away, and then it comes down to what's the next plan.
Yeah, and I think in that game, man, Don, like he had some real questionable, shaky moments, but at the end really kind of redeemed him on that Ziggs, and it was sort of served up to him on a silver platter. But yeah, no, it's you get into the late game, and Ziggs is going to be just fine, and really well played. I think Kanji did such a great job on this. Like he played carry set. He did it. Yeah. The Madman actually did it. I mean, I was
Haymaker for nuts.
Yeah, he got such a shield off of it. He managed to do like 8/10 of the health bar of the Lucian. I think maybe the Lucian later game ended up falling off pretty hard, and that made a big difference. But you're right. This next game, side selection swap, most likely incoming. That means that the Ziggs is potentially off the table. I think if you're LYB, you just want to ban it. It's too strong.
Yeah. There's really just no other option unless if they have something of their own cooked up. Xerath, not bad, but let's be real. If you're not hitting enough skill shots on a Ziggs,
similar things. I guess. I don't, I mean, we could theory craft all day for sure. I can't wait to see the damage craft because the last time we saw Ziggs, it went late game. Ooh, lads. It's going to be something else. Man, I'm still buzzing about that game. LYB they just took it down to the wire.
I mean,
they went down on Boom. They went down to Boom's level. Oh no, absolutely. They went down on Boom's level and they just said, "Fine, let's go throw down 1v1, just a bare knuckle brawl." And well, who do you bring to a bare knuckle brawl but a set? That was beautiful. I mean, it was beautiful in just how chaotic it was. Both these teams just like they full on ARAM'd it, and it was wonderful to see.
And you just saw right then and there, Boom. They don't have the wherewithal to understand. We can just play side lanes, just hard for side lanes. You saw there was some minor success coming in from this Gwen and this Rise. It was just, they didn't give themselves the time to set up for these plays. And also for the side of LYB to continually to try and force the play whenever they were seen in the side. It was always the immediate call for the Kanji teleport with that set to try and collapse onto the scene, or just run at them with the Lulu buff onto the Zen to try and make a play. So
yeah, it was so hard to kill them.
One game.
LYB, they got one game down in the books. If they can manage to get themselves one more, I mean, it's all evened up now. Boom, they're going to be the ones on the back foot in this one, even though they do have the side selection choice for this next game. LYB, they're proving that they belong here in the playoffs. I know it was a hard fought battle to get here. You look at the record, and if you're not familiar with this league, you think, well, how does a team get 4 wins and get into the playoffs? Well, first of all, there's 8 playoff spots out of 10, so that's how. But also, they had to play through a tiebreaker, and a lot of those wins came in the final couple of weeks. LYB are a team that we've seen slowly tick up, improve steadily. They weren't always able to close it out, but you know what? This time they did it. And look at that scoreline at the end.
Unfortunate that we don't get the damage numbers, but you know what?
Unfortunate.
We can envision them. And the gold graph really encapsulates the game, right? There wasn't really a large lead on either end, within 4K, both ends here. And it just shows
really
that,
turning on fights.
Yeah, Boom, they rely on fights to snowball their advantage. They don't out macro you at all. And for LYB, they're very good with team play, and when they do fall into deeper holes, that's when they run into issues, because then even though they ball up as a 5-man group, they don't have the stats to back it up because the difference is that large. But Kanji gets the MVP, and
Oof.
The plays on the set were insane. I thought his value was just to boot out this Volibear with the final chapter. No, it was to just assassinate the backline every time.
He honestly he like full on went in and just seismic tossed whoever he could grab, and it's like, cool, I'm gonna frontline forever. I'm never gonna die, and while you're dumping your damage into me, my team is gonna be out DPSing you. But he still got a number of kills for himself. Haymakers were absolutely insane. Really just great play from Kanji this time around, and it really shows why this team had so much faith in making that lane swap for him all those weeks ago, putting him up into the top side. And he took a little while to get going, but here we are. You know, I wonder if this is even Kanji's final form, Nightstar.
I wish he had a toothpick in his mouth.
He could go with the full set cosplay.
Yeah, exactly.
There we go.
Oh my god, he was definitely the boss in that game.
Maybe we get someone to Photoshop that one in. But yeah, he certainly was. That was such an impressive performance. I mean, well, I think we really are going to need a bit of a cool down after that one for sure, Nightstar. Oh boy. Well played. Yeah, definitely.